I'm joined in the studio by three award winners, I suppose. I presume it's an award you share because they are the team behind Bullet Casings in the Graveyard, which picked up the best. Was it let me see the award. It picked up the best factual film. There we go. Best factual film at the Royal Television Society Awards. Kate Breen is the director. Ciara Lawe is the director of photography, and Adam Daly was one of the co-producers and also production designer. You're all very, very welcome to Town Talk. And first thing to say is well done to you. I'm going to start with Kate, because I'm going to ask you to tell us Bullet Casings in the Graveyard. What was it all about? Where did the idea come from?
Well, it's actually very personal to me because it's related to my family. My father's great-grandfather fought in the War of Independence, and we had this photograph of him and his battalion in our house, and we looked at it all the time. And when I was pitching an idea for college to make a film, I started researching and finding out more about it, and what I uncovered was this really dramatic story about this one battalion in Galway who really had this bitter fight with the Black and Tans and held their ground, and just, you know, this really dramatic story that came from it, and that was where it all came about, was the picture and just knowing the family ties.
Okay, so obviously this is a story you have you've grown up with. Was it always something that you were going to do? Was this always in the back of your head, Kate, when you started college, that you were going to make this?
Well, so I originally in second year pitched it, and we made a very, very short 5-minute film, which really only touched on the family side. And then my lecturer said, look, if you want, in fourth year, repitch this. So I did, and when I repitched it, instead of just doing from the family side, I really got into the research behind the actual military archives and going all the way to Galway and finding all the information to get a more kind of rounded feel on the whole battalion and not just my great-grandfather. And that was the secondary pitch, and we ended up making a full 30-minute film then on the whole story.
Okay, I'm going to come over to Ciara, because Ciara, obviously a very, very vital role there. You were the director of photography, and how did you hook up with Kate? You're obviously all in, the same year in GKIT. You were in. So, did she approach you, or did you approach her? Or?
Basically, our lecturer Sarah, actually, she made this kind of poll thing where you put down exactly what type of role you want, and also which one you'd like to be in the most. So there was roles between like editor or sound or producer, something like that, and I've always wanted to do something around the likes of, like, I love camera and I love directing and I love writing, but I kind of just, with this one, it's such a big thing to kind of direct. Like, you need to kind of be the person who actually said it, came out with it, to know what you really want. So I put down camera work first, and I put down, I think Bullet Casings was in the top 2.
Okay.
There was another one.
And is camera work, is that where you see your future now, or was it just to get a feel for it, and maybe to eliminate it, that you don't want to?
I'd hope to do something in camera work. I'd love to one day have time to write something, but obviously that would take a lot of time. But with camera work, I've always just loved films as well, and the cinematography in them, so I'd love to incorporate just different shots. Now, I know with a documentary it's a bit harder to incorporate random, like, dolly zooms and stuff like that, but I think I did well enough with the cinematography if we won.
Absolutely, yeah. There's an award there to back that up. Adam, you obviously, your job it's possibly a little bit more difficult, and also maybe you're the one who has to be strict on everybody and has to keep control of everything, and also I presume you had to go out and find the money in the first instance to make this.
Well, because I was co-producer, we had the other producer who was in charge of the GoFundMe, so I wasn't as necessarily as a huge part in terms of the getting the money. But no, I definitely sent the link to some family members. They definitely helped. So yeah, that's it. The crowdfunding was like, we kind of just like put it up and let it simmer, and it just eventually came through.
And is that something, is that part of your course in DKIT, because you're coming up to your final year, and that you have to take a project like this and take it from scratch and go out and raise the funds yourselves and, put it together. And you did it, by the way, during the whole lockdown, or a lot of it was during the whole lockdown. So, that in itself brought with it a lot of challenges, I'm sure.
Yeah, because every other year there's always like a pub quiz, or there's something on campus, or a bake sale, or a car wash or something. But this year we couldn't do any of that. And I don't know, did we try to make a online quiz or something, or online RAF?
I think we knocked the idea around, but honestly, with the amount of support that we got,
we didn't have a huge time frame as well, so
but we got such a huge support with the GoFundMe that we actually didn't need to.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going to do a hamper, but we ended up realising that shipping the hamper, which would be fairly heavy, the amount of money we get out the hamper will probably just be spent on shipping.
We're just about break even.
Okay, but you did manage to pull it together. And then what about the actual filming? Because that in itself had to sort of observe a lot of COVID protocols as well, didn't it?
Because we were like trying to do it during a level 5, it was such a struggle. There was like one point in the documentary where we're interviewing someone inside of a hotel in Galway, and I remember I had to call like 2 or 3 hotels in Galway just to get one that would even let us in to do an interview, because the others were like, we're only taking people who are coming in for vital, crucial business trips right now, or we're shut. So it was, that's just one facet of it as well.
Yeah. But then I suppose, the good side of that is that you now have that on your CV.
Literally.
If and please, we don't want it to happen again, but if it were to happen again, we know how to do this. We've been there. So tell me about the award, because it was the Royal Television Society. The Royal Television Society, or does somebody want to tell me about them?
Yeah, so I believe they're an English organisation, but they do have awards in a number of countries. Mm-hmm. So our version of it was actually the Royal Television Society Student Awards. And I believe the actual Royal Television Society Awards are going ahead the next week, I think next Tuesday. So by them doing this and extending their awards out to students, I think it just allows so much more attention to go on even the young filmmakers and the young creators who probably wouldn't be able to submit films to the actual awards. And it's also, a step in the door. So they actually are a committee that you can apply and you can join with and kind of seek opportunity through. And even just having nominations and having, we didn't think we'd get the award, but even having a nomination with them is such an honour, and a privilege, really.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is no doubt that this kind of prestige, and it sounds a bit like our version of the Academy, the Film Academy or something. I take it there was nobody hit, or there was no punching or anything. And
well, there was. It wasn't televised.
It wasn't televised. Okay. So, well, come on, can you spill the beans? But so. You heard about these, so do you enter the awards, or did somebody enter it for you, or? It
was actually entered by our lecturer. So I think with each of the colleges, it is the colleges that put the students' films forward, and then among whatever is put forward, there's a even shorter list of nominations. So even when we were told and it was released that we were actually nominated, that was enough. That was good enough, I think, for all of us to know that we get to go and even sit in the audience and hear that we were nominated, and then they called our name.
And winning made it a fair amount better.
Yeah. So was it that a case that you went along to an awards ceremony, you knew you were on the shortlist, but you didn't actually realise till you arrived that you had picked up the Best Factual Movie?
We didn't realise until they called
our name.
Yeah.
They had nominees. It was us against 2 others. And I remember when they said the name, I kind of was like, That's weird. That sounded like ours. It sounded like they said bullet, but...
So then do you get up to do your speech and your...
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
had
all
you
just
prepared
kind
one?
of stumbled down.
Nothing was prepared. Nothing at all. We did our best. It kind of, you just floated down to the stage, and then before you got words out, you realised you said something, and then you were floating back to your seat.
I mean, yeah, because this was, what was it televised? It was in the RT, the studio that we all associate with the Late Late, wasn't it?
It was actually where the Late Late was filmed as well.
Yeah.
But we weren't allowed on the set.
Oh, right, okay.
Due to like COVID protocols and stuff, someone tried to take a picture and one of the women were like, no, you're not allowed there.
Right, okay.
But it was a nice set.
It was a nice
I hadn't
set.
been there before, so it was kind of cool.
Okay, so you went along and you came home, and when you realised what had just happened, how did you feel? I mean, it must be, because this is, you're just starting out, and already you're going on, into your field with a major award behind you.
It really does feel like that, because we have this now, that even putting our CV towards things, it's just that extra kind of push that can show, no, we say that we can do this, but this just shows that we know we can do this, and I think that's what's nice. It's validation, that the project that we made is actually a good project, and that we can be filmmakers if we want to be, and that going forward now, trying to move into the industry, I think it's just going to give us so much more confidence.
Yeah, I was asking Ciara there about, had she decided, had she sort of hit on, the camera as the place that she wanted to work within the film industry. What about yourself, Kate? I mean, you've now had this experience as a director of a documentary movie. Do you think that's something that you would like to an area you'd like to stay in, or?
I think out of everything that I moved into in college, in terms of like dramas, documentaries, live, documentary is the format that I just love the most. I just get so much out of it. Even the research side, like this was a historical documentary, and I started with a picture, and that was it. So even the research side of it, I just love so much. So definitely moving into documentary filmmaking is what I want to do, and what I will continue to push to try and do.
And are the opportunities there? I mean, it's a tricky area, and it can be tough to kind of everybody's. Yeah.
I think you have to make the opportunities more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to like really find your niche and then fill it. And then what I'm trying to say is that like there are jobs in RTE, there are jobs in Virgin Media that come up, but it's like. It's like for like the top levels of the people who are in the field, but there are people who just go out with a camera, make a video of, I don't know, top 10 Supermax sandwiches, and then it goes viral on anything, and then suddenly they're working with a subdivision of some network. That's what they told us in RTE.
Yeah.
They were like, you all have cameras on your phones, go out and do it.
And there's probably, there is a lot to that. I mean, there's people there you see who are making considerable amount of money from, the likes of TikTok and as you said, literally just, using their phone and a bit of imagination.
Yeah,
so,
you never know who's going to see it. So.
Yeah. So is that, again, do you think that's what you're... I mean, you, Adam, you were doing the designing side and then you were doing the production side. Which do you think now would you'd be more comfortable in?
I always said the whole way through college that all I wanted to do was the production side. I loved doing the sets and I loved making the costumes. But then after this, I found that there's probably more of a demand for like producing. Like my dream job would be to like have someone come to me, say, I have this idea, I got approval, I got funding, I just want to show up to set, have everything ready.
Okay. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but yeah, it does sound like it does sound like a bit of a dream. So you've all graduated now. You've got your award. What happens? Where do we go from here? Do you see Ireland as maybe a little bit restrictive, and do you think that you might have to travel further afield to at least get a start?
We had a lot of things going for us in Ireland like a few years ago. Like Game of Thrones shut down the year before we graduated. Woohoo. And Star Wars as well finished their last movie again the year of or after we graduated. So there was those big job opportunities in like Kerry, Belfast, on the island basically, but I'm not sure of any more that are filming.
I think unfortunately for us, we graduated the year before us, and our year we graduated just while COVID was still as big as it was, and now moving into the industry is very difficult because it's been cut. It's so much smaller than it was, and I think we've already seen that it is starting to grow again, and it's, you know, there's more coming back here. There's more kind of funding in the arts, so definitely in the next couple of years I think we'll see a rise again, and it's something that we just have to, as students, just have to keep our eye on.
Yeah.
I think one thing though, correct me if I'm wrong, because I was kind of zoned out after we won the award. I was kind of a bit just shocked, but they said something about us moving forward into a next nomination type of thing. It was maybe, I think it's the Student Awards in London.
Yeah, I think it's
which
the
even as well, being able to say that we were nominated for another one in a way is kind of a great thing to be able to say.
And you just said there, Kate, you're students. You're graduates now.
Yeah,
You've done that part of it. How did you find the whole course, by the way, in the GKLG?
It was very good. I really liked the first year of it because it felt like you could film and mess around a bit. It started getting a bit more serious, obviously, I guess. But fourth year was a bit kind of stressful just because it didn't really like you're doing stuff, but it doesn't really feel like you're doing stuff in a way.
And again, you had the interference of COVID, and a lot of your studying, you were telling me, which was remote, which is not why people go to college, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's very quiet. Like we did have work experience though in fourth year.
Oh yeah.
And I was working with Vision Independent Productions, and I helped with Operation Transformation, some like actual web videos. So I can't say that fourth year didn't help at all, because I got to work with basically RTE as well.
Okay, well, look, you don't know what's going to come out of it. Just if anybody's listening and they're interested in finding out more about Bullet Casings in the Graveyard, is it available for people to watch?
It is on YouTube, so it's discoverable on YouTube. If you just look up by the title, it can be seen there. And yeah, if people enjoy it, even drop us a message, let us know. We'd love to know what people think of it.
And is there any chance, like, because I know you know the major television stations sometimes do come along and pick up these a lot of these documentaries. Is there a hope that at some stage it might make it to one of those?
Well, the thing is, it never stops. Once you have a project, even like I've already submitted it to film festivals next year, and it was featured in the Louth Film Festival here and the Cork Film Festival already. So once you have a project, you can make it move for you. So absolutely, even though we're all done with it, we can still send it off for distribution to kind of get more traction on it. Absolutely.
Yeah, so TG Cahir, if you're listening.
They're good at that, they are. Listen, an amazing achievement, and well done to the three of you and to everybody else who was involved in Bullet Casings in the Graveyard. Kate Breen, Ciara Lawe and Adam Daly, thank you so much for dropping into us this morning.